Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the show. Hey, buddy.
Hey.
What's happening?
I'm here.
That's about how I feel. We're here. Yay, let's get the show started. Woo! All right, we're over. Bye. See ya. No, anyways, what do we have today?
We have a Jetta.
So, what we're doing in this Jetta is a nice little 5-channel system with a new radio and a backup camera. Let me show you what we got going on, and then we'll get started. So, as it stands right now, it does not have steering wheel controls, so we're gonna go ahead and use the C2R VW2. This interface will allow us to get accessory, backup camera, and we'll talk about it more once we get to that point. We'll set this over here on the bench. We're gonna do an Echo Master backup camera. We're gonna do a Pioneer 1550 NEX. We're gonna do a Pioneer 5-channel. We don't know if we're gonna do these or not. We don't know if they're gonna fit yet, but if they do, we're gonna do some Rockford speakers, dash kit, wiring harness, and then for bass, he's getting 2 Comp Cs to be powered off that 5th channel on the subwoofer side. You ready?
Let's do it.
Where are you starting?
I'm gonna start in the backup camera.
I think I'm gonna start with going ahead and taking the door panel off and seeing if those speakers are gonna fit.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, roll the intro and let's get started. So this is a base model Jetta. It doesn't have a fender. It doesn't have any of the cool amplified anything. Let me show you what it looks like. So I have the standard radio on the dash. There's no tweeters anywhere up here. It just has this speaker down here low on the door. Now where it gets kind of funny is on the rear door. So the rear door has the provision for the tweeter. It's not there. It just has the mid bass in the bottom of the door. And there's no reason why we would add components to the rear and not to the front. He is just gonna go with 4 coaxials. Let's start with this rear door here and get that off, because that's closest to the trunk where Fernando's gonna be working, and I wanna get this side done and out of the way, because this is where he's gonna be spending a lot of his time, and I can be on the other side of the car dealing with everything like the radio and stuff like that. So let's get to this door. So to get this door panel off, we're gonna go ahead and remove a couple screws first. The bottom one's a T20, the one here is a T27. Now we need to remove this panel right here. We're gonna have another T27 here behind it. We have to remove this handle right here. Full metal clip here at the front and here at the back. And there's another T27 behind it. Now is the hard part, is getting the actual door panel off. The clips that they use in these are super strong. Easiest place to start is right here. Just take your panel tool, work it in until you can get your fingers in there. And then you just gotta kind of pull on it as hard as you can, and it'll pop off, and then just kind of work your way around. Once you get them all popped off, just kind of lift up on it to break it free from the top. Then snake the power window through. To get the clip off, lift right here, and pull up, and this will come off. Now one of the things about the speakers they use in a lot of German cars that I always find amusing is whatever they make this foam out of, it just falls apart. It is not made for this climate, and as you can see here, there's nothing left of it. It's the whole surround is gone. So we can go ahead and unplug this. Now the other fun we're gonna have in this one is that they've gone ahead and riveted this guy in, and this is definitely a 6, so this is a smaller size speaker. So we're gonna have to drill these rivets first. Yay. For the new speaker we're gonna put in, we need to be able to fasten it, and obviously we could just screw into this metal, but we already have the 4 holes from the existing rivets. We just wanna make them a little bit bigger. We can go ahead and put a nut cert in there so that we can make them unscrewable and serviceable. Now how this works is there's a screw on the end here. This just screws on like a nut. Gets to a certain depth. We're gonna plug the air hose into it. This is gonna pull back, shrinking this into the hole. This spins so that we can unscrew it, and now we can actually put a screw the same size into one of these. Now we have a fully serviceable mount as opposed to some silly rivets or, yeah, you get the idea. For this, all we need is a 1/2-inch spacer. They do make a mount that looks just like this, but you really can only put like a 6 or a 5 1/4 in it. The Rockford speaker P1650 punch will fit right in. Like right in, you don't have to do anything. However, because this is spaced out some, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing and move it out closer into the door panel, taking up some of that room. He's not doing fast rings, so this will at least get it a little closer into the door. Now on the back of the door, it does have a ring that this is gonna set in, so that is going to help. Now what we need to do to this to make this function is we're gonna go ahead and put foam on the back side of this, and then also we have to drill a hole through this so that our wire can come up and go ahead and attach to their wiring here. Now one of the things we found out using nut certs is not all screws, even though they're all M5s, work the same. Sometimes they give us a little bit of grief. If you put a little bit of WD-40 in the hole before you start, it will make it go in a lot easier. On the back of the Rockford speaker, it already has foam, so we don't have to foam that, but what we do have to is go over to the bench and make a pigtail that's going to come off of this and attach here. But before we head over to the bench to do that, what we want to do is figure out which one of these two wires here is positive and negative, because we'll just go ahead and take a blue wire and a white wire and attach those to our speakers so that they stay the same all the way through. We have ourselves a little 9-volt battery. We're going to grab positive, negative on this. We'll go ahead and tap it to our speaker, and when the speaker moves out like that, we can look at our battery and figure out which one of these is positive and negative. And in this case, the white wire is the positive, so we'll make sure we use that on our speaker. We have our white, we have our blue, we twisted it up, we've taped them up so they're insulated. We have some 3/4 inch screws. The last step is just soldering the wires together. Now once these have cooled to the touch, we'll tape them up to match the factory, and we can put the door panel back on. Make sure to pull the window switch through the hole. Don't forget to do that. I'm gonna finish this up. I'll meet you in the front doors. Now lucky for us, the front door and the back door are basically the same as far as how they come in and come apart. There are a few extra steps because pieces are longer or whatnot, but we still need to go ahead and get this guy off. We also have to get the switch panel off. On the front switch, the clip is a little bit different. You see this red guy here, it just pulls up. It's got some springs in it, and then it'll unclip. This one has 3 clips now instead of just 2 because it is a little longer. We have a screw here, we have a screw here, and then inside the door there is another panel that has to come back and out. This guy right here, it has 3 clips holding it in place. So that makes a total of 3 screws that need to be removed on the door, and then 1 down here on the bottom, just like on the rear door. If you see the little faint blue trace there, they do use Loctite to put these in, so they do need a little extra twist to get them out. It needs a lot of pull. Now one of the reasons why these clips are so hard to get off is they're actually a 2-part clip. Let me pull one out, I'll show you. See the little white guy in there? This actually moves in and out, so as you're pulling it, it releases and will make this narrow, and then as you push it in, it widens it out. Kind of like when you're putting those things in your drywall where you don't have a stud. Same basic idea. Now the front speaker is in a little bit better shape than the rear speaker. It is not totally deteriorated. There are a few little holes in it where you can see it's starting to break down. Clips in the same way, drills in the same way, so we're gonna put the speaker in the same way. The 1/2-inch spacers that we're using are Best Kit's BKSG 650DX. There's 2 in a pack, and they're actually stackable. So they come and they look like it's just a 1-inch, but they pull apart, and they have a little tiny tongue and groove system, so you can put one on top of another, on top of another. So you can just keep stacking these as far out as you need, and they're built really well. It's a double wall. There's a wall on the inside, a wall on the outside. There's plenty of holes to mount it in, and they're definitely really strong. They do a really good job on these. For this application, they're perfect. But before we can get excited about doing that, we need to go ahead and get this off. In case of this Volkswagen, they're the same exact speakers front and rear. They're totally interchangeable. They have the same part number on the back. So what that means is that whatever we found for positive and negative on this one is going to be the exact same on this speaker. So we don't have to polarity check this speaker with this harness on the rest of the car. All we need to do is make sure we keep our one speaker that we know is constant, which on this one we found out that the white was positive. And what we like to do is we like to bend over the ground so that it's out of the way. That means that the red is going to be positive on this one. We get asked a lot of the times why we cut the plug off, because I don't like the alternative. I've never been happy with that, with those cheap adapters that they make for this. I've had more of those fail. That's why I stopped using them and went back to something that I had been doing for a very, very long time that has never caused me issues. The other thing too is just like we're lengthening these wires by soldering an extension onto them, we could solder these back on too and plug this speaker right back into if we need to. It's not like we're throwing this away and we can't ever reattach it. And that's the magic of solder. You can connect two wires back together. I'm gonna head over to the bench and get my speaker all prepped. I'll be right back. Speakers in place, wired up, all set and ready to go. I'm gonna get this door panel back on. So the plan was to hurry up and get this driver's side done so that Fernando could get through here with the camera wires and whatnot. We're done, so now we can follow his little journey getting these camera wires through. I'm gonna go ahead and also get these running boards and stuff out of the way for him, make his job a little bit easier. So one of the hardest parts of removing the sides here is getting this guy out. You feel like you should be able to pull it off, or there should be something, and there is something. What you want to do is you want to pull it forward like this, and then all the way flat against the bottom, take your tool and just kind of rub it along inside of there, and you're pulling out that little flat clip that is in the way. Once you get the clip out, it's this guy right here, and it slides into place across the back. Now, older versions of the car, this clip lip is taller, so it's easier to get in and out. Once you get that out, then there's a screw here. Pull the cap off, flathead, just unscrew that. And then I always like to put the cap back on it because you don't need it off. This will just push in. Now we can easily remove our panel. Now to get this little footrest off here, there's another Torx. Yay. Once you get the Torx, just kind of lift up on it and it'll slide right out. It has these cool clips right here that slide down into the metal. Now since we're down in this location, if you're fortunate enough to have an automatic, you're in luck. It's real easy to get through the firewall in this car because the hole where the clutch would go is access. Just reach up here. You can fold this panel down and out of the way. And then on the firewall, be a big cool grommet, this guy. All you have to do is drill a hole through this, and you're into the engine compartment. Now, if you happen to have the stick, well, it's a lot more difficult, but it is doable.